Hey, what's up, you guys? David here, and today I'm back to you guys to do another CD collection update. So, if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started here. First up, we have Contrarian with Their Worm Never Dies. This is released on Willowtip Records, came out this year. Willowtip, if you guys are not, or some of you may be familiar with, Willowtip is the label that released the Sluggish Esoteric Malacology album from last year, which was really, really good. So, highly recommend you go check out Willowtip. They're doing some really cool stuff. So, Contrarian is very, very solid progressive death metal, in my opinion, without being overly technical. And basically, to describe the sound of this band, if you're into the, you know, that early 90s kind of like progressive technical style of death metal, that's definitely what these guys are doing. Like I said, not, in my opinion, not overly technical. Great riffs, really cool vocals. The vocals definitely remind you of like the Human or even like the Individual Thought Patterns era Chuck Schuldiner. Really cool bass work on here as well. Just yeah, very very solid progressive death metal from this year. I would say like if you liked Horrendous Idol from last year, to be clear, I don't think those bands sound alike or anything, but it's just if you're looking for that kind of similar progressive death metal style, I think you're definitely gonna enjoy Contrarian. So yeah, Contrarian with Their Worm Never Dies. Come on. And next up, we go to Fallujah with Undying Light. This is released on Nuclear Blast Records that came out this year. Fallujah is a band I've been into for a good number of years now, ever since I first saw them with a Contortionist back in 2014. They really, really impressed me with their live show, and I eventually became a fan of their music. Fallujah, American, technical, just progressive death metal, but with atmosphere and ambience. That's what they're known for doing. But with this album, Undying Light, Fallujah have definitely made a shift in their sound. Unfortunately, from losing, their vocalist Alex and Brian, they're one of their guitar players and primary songwriters, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's something that really affected this release, because Fallujah has definitely taken a step in a new direction. It just, I don't know. Most people do not like this. When I first heard the couple singles, I was definitely pretty disappointed. But because I pre-ordered this, and when I got the album and gave it a full listen, I was actually surprised with how much I enjoyed it. The production on here is actually definitely probably the best sound they've ever had, especially the drums on here. The drums on here sound absolutely fantastic. But just overall, unlike the previous Fallujah records, especially The Flesh Prevails and Dreamless, the guitar work on here is just not nearly as powerful, and it's kind of like, spellbinding, and just like it just doesn't have those great, just like crushing but sort of beautiful and ambient filled moments that just made Dreamless and Flesh Prevails so great. That just a lot of that on here is just completely gone. And the vocals are also different with this new vocalist. He doesn't really do like the growls anymore. He does more like a kind of just like this high pitched kind of scream. I don't really know like what style to call it, but yeah, just unlike previous Fallujah releases, this one is not nearly as good. It's definitely my least favorite in their discography, but it is still a pretty decent album. I was really, really enjoying this at first. Like the first, several listens, I had this very early on in my top albums of the year, but it has since, been dropped out because it's been beaten out by so many other releases this year. So Fallujah, Undying Light, give it a chance. But if you're looking for that sound like Flesh Prevails, Dreamless, I think you're going to be pretty disappointed. But yeah, Fallujah, Undying Light. Next up, we go to Astronoid with their self-titled full length. This is their second release, also released on Blood Music. Astronoid, I was very, very impressed when I got to see them live with Between the Bear to Me this year, and that's what made me want to go and buy this album. I'm pretty sure that I when I got into this release, it wasn't until I saw them live, but yeah, this is an absolutely beautiful album. A lot of people like to put Astronoid in like the post black metal, black gaze kind of category. I don't really agree with that. To me, Astronoid, they definitely had that shoegaze sound. That is most definitely in there. There's no denying that. But I don't really hear much like black metal in here. Yeah, there's some tremolo pit guitars for sure, but to me, this is like, really just chilled out melodic like post metal with some very proggy instrumentation. I feel like if you really listen to what they're playing, the musicianship on this, it definitely has, that prog feeling going on, especially within the guitar work, the bass. Awesome drumming on here as well. The vocals are very, very, very soft spoken and just also really adds to that atmosphere and ambience on this album. And yeah, like I said, it's just a beautiful melodic, chilled out listen. But it's still, I would definitely still say that the riffing is still heavy enough to be metal. So yeah, Astronoid with their self-titled full length, their second album, as I said. Yeah, good stuff. And next up, we go to Pounder with Uncivilized. This is another release from this year, and this is another project by the fucking marvelous Matt Harvey from Gruesome and Exhumed fame. So this time, Matt Harvey has another band together, and this time he is paying his tribute and love to the traditional heavy metal genre. And this is a very, very solid album. I really enjoyed this, although I gotta be honest, compared to a lot of the other traditional heavy metal releases that have come out this year, like, Chevalier and Traveler, Lunar Shadow, among many others. I definitely think they're miles ahead of this, but this still has a spot on my year-end list. I really enjoy this just because, and that's not to give any discredit to the rest of the band members that Matt has on here, but just Matt Harvey is definitely one of the best musicians in metal going today. It's just like every time he gets a band together and he does a certain style of metal, he just does it so well and executes it flawlessly every time. Great riffs on here, very good guitar work, solos and whatnot. Pretty cool drumming and bass work. The rhythm section's pretty tight as well. Only thing is Matt Harvey doing his just regular singing as opposed to his, what he's known for with the death metal vocals. I gotta be honest, I don't think Matt Harvey is the best, singer, but he's definitely not terrible or anything by any means, so don't go thinking that. But I just think he definitely does better doing his growls and screams rather than his singing. But for his first time doing it, at least to my knowledge, he does a pretty decent job on this. But his guitar playing definitely is miles ahead of his singing on this, in my opinion. But yeah, Matt Harvey, he's a fucking musical genius. I fucking love everything he does, and Pounder is no different. So Pounder, Uncivilized. And next up, we go to Dragon Guardian with their first full length. Obviously, there's a Japanese band, and as you can see, there's a bunch of Japanese, writing on here and stuff. So I can't really tell you much from because nothing's in English. But anyway, this is their very first album, released in 2007. And it's probably my least favorite Dragon Guardian album, although, I still love every album by this band. Dragon Guardian's one of my all-time favorite Japanese bands. But, yeah, it's still what you want from Dragon Guardian. It's just like the really kind of epic-sounding, symphonic power metal. Although, the musicianship is definitely a little less tight on this, and it's definitely the production's definitely a lot more raw as compared to the later Dragon Guardian releases, and just the musicianship wasn't just all the way there yet. Also, similar to the other Dragon Guardian albums, you got a number of different female vocalists that do the lead vocal parts on this. You still got the kind of like the anime dialogue that's in between the songs, so that's definitely still there. It's a lot of the things that you come to expect with Dragon Guardian are still presented here. But yeah, definitely my least favorite release from them. And I believe that this translates to the Dragon of Good and Evil, if I remember correctly. But yeah, Dragon Guardian with their first full length. And next up, we're gonna go to Dragon Guardian again. This is their second full length. I think this one translates to like long ago or something like that. But on their second full length, the musicianship definitely improves from the first album. And they only get one vocalist to do all the vocals on this, so no guest vocalist this time around. It is still a female. She does a fantastic job. This might be like the album where they use like their most epic sounding, or I guess that's debatable as well with some of the later releases. But yeah, to me, I think this might be like one of their most epic sounding. Just those really like just triumphant sort of fantasy kind of driven rhythms and just sounds going on here. Like there's that like kind of like echo on the drums that kind of make it sound like a war drum beat or something. Just that kind of like fantasy kind of stuff going on. Still fantastic symphonic power metal. The musicianship definitely improves a lot on this. Production improves a lot. And yeah, really, really solid stuff. If you're a fan of Dragon Guardian and their just overall sound, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't enjoy this one as well. God damn it. 1 second. This is happening to me a lot lately. Next up, we go to Incantation with Diabolical Conquest. It's released in 1998 was this originally? I can't remember if this is originally on Relapse or not, but I believe this might be a remaster. But yeah, anyway, this version is on Relapse. So yeah, this is their third full length. Most Incantation fans would consider Mortal Throne and Nazarene and Onward to Golgotha to be their crowning achievements, their best two albums. And while I'm definitely in that crowd as well, this would definitely be my third choice for their next best. And what I recently found out with this album that I did not previously know was apparently the vocalist of The Chasm is the vocalist on this. Craig Pillard was no longer in the band at this point, and which I'm sure is kind of a big divide for a lot of Incantation fans. Craig Pillard is very, very, iconic and just, synonymous with Incantation, of course. But the guy from The Chasm, forgive me, I don't know his name. He does a hell of a job on this. So just basically just, The Chasm vocals right on top of Incantation. Still what you want from Incantation, the doom-laden, just really crushing riffs, just those kind of slow, doomy passages. And the very last track on this album it's like 16 minutes. It's just like a really fucking, it's kind of just like, it's like an epic long prog track, except it's just really dark, evil, doomy fucking death metal. And it never gets boring, and it's a very, very well executed track on here without a doubt. But yeah, a fucking fantastic release from Incantation. Incantation never does a bad album. They're fucking death metal legends. So, yeah. Incantation, Diabolical Conquest. And next up, we go to more Incantation, this time with Upon the Throne of Apocalypse. I'm not going to talk too much about this because, most of you already know what this is, but this is basically like the raw, rough mix of the Mortal Throne of Nazarene album. All the songs are the same, except for, like, I think some of the order or something is, like, reversed or something like that. This is a remaster. This just came out this year, put out through Relapse Records, came with a t-shirt, which is really, really cool. But yeah, most of you guys already know what this is. And I've heard some people actually prefer this version over the actual Mortal Throne of Nazarene version. And there definitely is, you can definitely tell a difference. Because, this is, like I said, it's the rough mix of that album. But, yeah, I could definitely kind of see why some people would prefer this over that. But I don't know where I am in that. But, yeah, they both sound pretty cool to me. So, yeah, Incantation upon the Throne of Apocalypse. All right, and last but not least, another incantation, this time Incantation Onward to Golgotha. As I was previously stating, Mortal Throne of Nazarene and this album are considered to be Incantation's best, and, that's, shouldn't be surprising. Craig Pillard's vocals are just some of the absolute best in death metal. This is, in my opinion, one of the all-time best death metal releases. On my Facebook page, I did a top 20 favorite death metal albums of 80s and 90s, and this is on it. This is just, man, it's just dark, it's crushing, it's blasphemous, it's vile, it's fucking evil. Incantation are definitely one of these bands that started that cavern. I think they pretty much are the ones that started, that filthy, cavernous death metal style that we're seeing a lot with, bands still today. There's still a lot of bands that are paying tribute to this album and just Incantation in general. And I'm completely fine with that because this is a particular sound of death metal that I absolutely love, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. So, yeah. Onward to Golgotha, not much to say. It's a fucking legendary death metal album. It's fucking amazing. Yeah. Incantation, Onward to Golgotha. Or Golgotha. I don't know. However you want to say it. And yeah, guys, that is going to do it for this CD collection update. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you for continuing to like, subscribe, comment, all that cool shit. And I will see you guys in the next video. All right? Take it easy.